All you have to do is close your eyes and listen.
Welcome to episode 3 of TSGG Chat. I'm Kevin Bork. The following 2 episodes are going to be covering our E3 predictions. This is part 1. But first, make sure you head over to tsgg.online and become a member of the group. You will be kept up to date with our newsletter, and you will also get a nice welcome gift. And best of all, it's completely free. So check that out today. Follow us on Twitter at TheSochGG and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Now, in order to get the show started, let's meet our panel. This episode, we've got Brennan, Brett, and Jake. How's everybody doing?
Good. Thanks for having me here.
Always good, you know me.
I'm fantastic.
Awesome.
No, you're not.
Shut up.
That's a lie. Okay at best.
Oh, subpar.
All right, guys, let's get the show started with Sony. So far, Sony has been tight-lipped about what the show was going to be, what kind of a show it was going to be, until recently. A few days ago, they announced on the PlayStation blog that Chairman Sean Layden was there, and he went over a little bit of what their E3 was going to be this year. And he came right out and he said there will be no new hardware announced at E3 this year.
Ooh.
So the PS5 is not coming yet.
Which we kind of expected.
Yeah. So
A couple of years away, at least.
with no
Yeah.
PS5, no PS Vita 2. Which, I always get my fingers crossed for some
Darn.
Vita. But we're not getting it. So what are we getting? They said that they're going to focus on their big 4. The big 4 exclusives that are coming out this year and next year. And those 4 are Spider-Man, Death Stranding, Ghost of Tsushima, and the headliner of the show is The Last of Us Part 2. So, in the previous episode, I said that I was concerned about Days Gone, and I was wondering if maybe it would be because they went dark on it and we didn't hear anything about it, and they've been promoting The Last of Us 2.
Right.
So, with Days Gone kind of going into the back burner and away, I was wondering if that game was going to be in trouble. However, they have partnered with Game Informer, who just this month have done Days Gone as their cover story, and Game Informer just released a 1-hour video of the first hour of the game. So you get to watch that, and I watched it a little bit, and it does look like it's still very early in development. There are some very, very choppy bits, but it needs some polishing. And so far, like, the gameplay looks pretty good. So check out that video if you guys haven't seen it yet. Also, they said that they're targeting early 2019 for that one. So I'm picturing something along the same lines as Monster Hunter and Horizon the year before, somewhere maybe like a February release.
Oh, you mean tax time?
Yeah. As you've noticed, more games are coming out around tax time. So,
Naturally.
but the big ones are still coming out fall.
Right. Well, it's easier to be considered
Christmas
for game
time.
of the year.
Yeah,
Holiday
if you're-
time.
Yep.
And
And
if
they're
you're
starting
released
it
at that
out
time
this
as well.
fall with Spider-Man, September 9th.
Not.
You're really
So,
not?
I am super pumped for Spider-Man.
Since Spider-Man 2 for the PlayStation, there has not been a good
My
Spider-Man.
man, you have got to get off of that.
Drop
It's
off.
so good. And
It was the best Spider-Man
You need to use your
game
spidey
made.
senses and realize that there are other games out there. Other games that need your time.
Not
Listen, they haven't even
worthwhile.
made a good Spider-Man movie.
since then.
What are you
Since
talking about?
Maguire.
Okay, let's not talk about that right now. But so Days Gone, I got a question about that because I haven't actually been on
Tom
that hype
Holland,
train.
great actor for Spider-Man, though. Just
Yeah,
that
he
the
is.
movie, the
He's
Vulture,
awesome.
was not the enemy they should have started with.
I didn't mind the Vulture. It was different. The Vulture was different than what we've
Green
seen
Goblin,
before. Yeah, I didn't
everything
want
that
them
we're used to.
reboot
Yeah.
another.
Well, in the
Another
Amazing
villain.
Spider-Man with Garfield, they had Electro, who we've never
Yeah.
seen before.
Electro
Yeah.
was dope.
Electro
good.
was the best part of that movie, but his lines were horrible, just like the rest of that movie. And don't even get me started on Rhino.
Oh,
'Cause
and
it was fucking god awful.
and wasn't that the one with the?
Don't get me started on Garfield.
You don't
This
like
is supposed to
Garfield?
be a video game podcast, not Garfield bashing, because I'll go right into him.
He was a good Peter Parker.
No.
Fair.
Kevin
We respect each other's opinions.
Kevin
here.
disagrees. Anyway,
He was
Days
good.
Gone.
Actually, I didn't mind him as Spider-Man.
We're really
Kevin's
trying.
really stuck
we're
on this
trying
Andrew
for you.
Garfield.
I liked him better than I liked Seabiscuit as Spider-Man. But Tom Holland is the best casting for Spider-Man.
Oh, for sure, I definitely agree. I
Yeah.
just didn't.
He was
like the
better-
Vulture,
Tobey Maguire.
He was
that's
better in the
I think he's
Avengers
better
than
than
he
Maguire,
was in his own movie, though.
for sure.
100%.
Like I
who.
liked,
Yeah,
I liked his parts.
His
That was
part
one
in
of
the
my
Avengers
favorite
was
parts of the
fantastic.
Avengers.
It was
Yeah,
one
it
of my
was.
favorite. Yeah, absolutely.
So, Game Informer talked about, and in their magazine this month, they have the full article
Spread.
about it. It's their feature article, it's the cover article. So I'm no longer concerned that Days Gone's getting canceled.
Good.
Good to hear.
Yeah.
Another zombie game. Yeah.
Yeah, I
Are
like
you
zombie
concerned
games, so-
about how similar it looks to? Did you watch the? I know you said there was an hour video. Did you watch it?
Yeah, I watched some of it.
Does it still look like The Last of Us? Very,
No.
very similar.
No.
See,
it
that's
does
what I
look
was going
different
to
now.
talk about too.
No,
That was my question.
It doesn't.
Because I know you raised concerns about that from their. Was it last year's E3? Is that where you saw it? Where it was shown?
Which one? The Last of Us? Yeah, The Last
Yeah.
of Us was shown at E3.
Right.
And the previous E3 was Days Gone. So they were kind of doing like this alternated thing.
Mhm.
And the way that they're doing these trailers, they don't show you Naughty Dog. They don't show
Right.
you like the developer. They don't show you anything. They're just showing
Cinematics,
movie.
basically.
yeah, and you're like, what is this? So because they're two zombie games that are coming out, yeah, but when you watch this
The video.
when you watch this gameplay,
Technically, The Last of Us, they're like fungus people, but
yeah, I guess essentially
not
they
really
are.
zombies.
Cordyceps.
Right.
I'll tell you what though, man, the clickers, there's some scary motherfuckers. I would never want to see one of those ever.
Mushroom people.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, kind of.
I mean, they look like mushroom people.
So how do you think
Have you
this
seen Chicken of the
conference?
Forest?
What's
Ever
that?
seen what?
Chicken of the Forest, the actual like mushrooms.
No.
They're slates. Looks kind of like their heads.
Mm-mm.
Really good mushrooms.
So where do you guys see this Sony conference going? Are they going to lead with Spider-Man? I think that they should because it's the one that's coming out first out of the big four.
Well, it comes out within 3 months of the actual conference, so I'm sure
I think they
that'll
come
be
right
the
out.
lead option.
Like, the biggest concern for me for Spider-Man is how open is New York City?
Right.
Do we get to go around and
Like the PlayStation 2 version where you could run
Yeah.
around and people would be yelling for help and you could just help them.
how many villains are in here? How many side stories are there? Stuff like that. So, because everything that we've seen has been very story
Linear.
driven, has been
Right.
very scripted, very linear. And so I think they come out, they show us a cinematic, and then they have a gameplay demonstration
And
on the
it's very
stage
open world.
of the guy just going around New York City.
Hopefully.
That would really build my hype to the maximum level for this.
Mhm.
As you all know, Spider-Man is my favorite superhero, and he deserves a perfect game.
I think they'll probably lead with Spider-Man and end with The Last of Us 2.
And with
Part
Last of Us,
two.
well,
I'm actually
don't
with
know.
you on
Yeah,
that.
I thought the same thing.
I
Just
think they're
because if they lead with Spider-Man. Superman's a terrible hero. If they lead with Spider-Man and like build that hype, and then they finish really high with Last of Us 2 as well.
Yeah.
Even if like Ghost of Tsushima or anything like that, even if they they don't have the hype as much, it's still they started
finish
really
on that
high
note.
and they finished really high.
Honestly, though, I might say that it could be Death Stranding too.
True, because we haven't seen much about Death
Right.
Stranding,
Correct,
and
yeah.
being a Kojima game, it's obviously going to be
Yeah, especially
terrific.
if it's an exclusive. The hype train when if they did like, let's say, The Last of Us, and they ran out with Death Stranding, and it's actually a gameplay footage thing where it actually shows us some actual.
That would be huge.
That would be.
Oh, yeah.
killer.
I think we're definitely going to see gameplay. If
Think
if their main focus is these 4 games, we're seeing a lot about these 4 games.
Right.
Yeah.
They said their focus for this conference is this core 4 of games, plus they're going to have some things from the other third-party developers. So by them saying that this conference is focused on these 4 games, we're not just getting one cinematic
and then it's
that
over.
you have no idea what's going on.
Right.
Yes, it looks pretty, because
Stranding.
that is Death Stranding. As we
That's
don't,
all-
we
that-
still
yeah.
don't know what it is. We still have no idea what
Yeah,
it is.
Weird
we know there's some
babies in
soldiers
incubators,
and there's
really
some
cool.
babies in incubators. That's all we know at this
some
point.
weird invisible shadow monsters.
Yeah.
That's
The
about it.
Baby that gives you a thumbs up. So
I hope that's us. I hope that's the player character.
We're the baby.
Grows into Norman Reedus.
I'm really happy that they're going to focus on Ghost of Tsushima, because this is made by Sucker Punch, the people
Mhm.
that made Infamous,
Right.
and they made really an amazing superhero game. They gave us superheroes. So I'm really pumped for this, and we've only seen a little bit of a cinematics for this game, so I'm interested to see how open this is, and you are a fucking samurai, so
With that,
You've seen a lot of them go that direction though recently, as far as the samurai. I mean, we've got Neo.
yeah, Neo's really good.
Hopefully, from his going Tenchu, that would be very exciting for me,
It could be.
especially. But
I think we're going to get that announcement. Is it on Sony stage? I don't know. Maybe?
from they don't usually do
yeah,
exclusives. Bloodborne notwithstanding.
was,
yeah.
but
It was more
before
of a
that-
fan service, and the hit they took on sales.
well, I
compared
mean,
to Dark Souls.
at this point though, when you're looking at the exclusives, just this year alone, for Sony, if you release an exclusive for Sony, you're still going to do fine.
Oh,
Because
They
the-
sold over 70 million
they're
PlayStation
dominating.
4s.
That's
They're-
true.
They're crushing.
Currently,
So-
they're selling 2 PlayStation 4s to every 1 Xbox One
Right.
that's sold. So they're dominating the market.
Yeah, they're crushing it, and for good reason.
Plus, Sony pays the developer to be an exclusive studio, so they're already getting paid.
Right.
So
Right.
they're
And
not going to lose any money.
with Ghosts, the only thing I hope with that is that it's combat, it's movement, it's different than Infamous. Because what turned me off of Infamous was its controls.
It was very
Was not a
loose.
fan.
It was very loose. I didn't like that part of it either. But what was it? Second Son that came out on PS4.
Yes.
They tightened it up with that one, so that was much better. I'm not sure what engine they're using for it, but if that trailer has anything to do with the engine, it's going to look beautiful. One thing that Neo did, and most of the samurai games do, is they bring in the demon aspect of it. So you're
The
fighting
Oni,
monsters,
the
you're
yokai.
fighting the Oni, the yokai.
Yep.
And this one is not that.
Right.
You are fighting
Other
humans
samurais.
in that war period. So that is very intriguing to me as well. So the only closest thing we have to that is Dynasty Warriors. And that's
Well,
just
Neo had
way over
aspects
the
of
top.
that.
Well-
It did have aspects later on in the game where you were
It did,
fighting other
but-
samurai, but
It's a mix of
Yeah.
it's more fantasy than anything. Like
Right,
this is
yeah,
more
yeah.
about historical representation of samurai, which I don't think you're going to be getting the over the top superhero powers,
Mhm.
but I do think you're going to get a nice skill set. So you may have different types of abilities like slashes or quickness, stuff
Right.
like that.
you're still going to
So,
be a
like,
badass.
Kingdom
it's-
Come Deliverance, kind of.
yeah, kind of like that, but in
real life
yeah.
sword fighting techniques.
And
I'm
samurai.
all for that if that's the
for
case.
sure.
Yeah,
I hope they bring stances like Neo did, though,
yeah, that would be
because that
sweet.
was something that was actually
was really
used
good.
It was
for,
very cool.
for combat back in
Yeah.
the day.
for sure, and the weaponry can be changed as well.
Oh yeah, the entire martial arts of the samurai period, everybody was different.
But if you were, what do you want to see for this game? Like when they show
Jake-
this, what do you want to see?
Jake, what would you like to see?
Jake, do you even know about this game?
No, actually, I don't.
You haven't seen this game?
Haven't heard anything about it.
Wow.
Well,
After this, we're going to show you the trailer so you can get hyped up about it.
'cause
So-
it's worth being hype job.
It really is, and it's Sucker Punch. You've played Infamous games, I know you have.
Yes, I
so,
have.
you know you're going to get a good quality product from that studio. So in this samurai game, what is it about a samurai game that would draw you in?
Personally, when you were talking about the stances, I could go for that again. Neo had a
Yeah, they
great,
did.
like their combat style for that game was so good that having a game that has a certain kind of aspect where you do stances since you're in like a combat with swords would be excellent.
There was an update to Neo that introduced PvP, and I never went back in and played it. Did any of you guys jump in and play the PvP of it?
Yeah,
Yes.
it's
Lightly.
it's like any other game where gear matters.
Gear matters, and
So if
was it
you're
laggy, and
if you're like, no, it wasn't very laggy, but as far as like it was just an arena style, it didn't really do much for you as far as gameplay.
oh no,
But if you had really high end gear, you would basically win. So, which is, I mean, I like that just because you have to grind.
Yeah.
So if I'm grinding for an item, you know what I mean? I'm gonna really want that to impact gameplay for me. So as far as that goes, it really did. If you had a stronger weapon than the other guy, you were gonna win, basically.
So when I think about games like this, I'm thinking about like Dark Souls 3's PvP. To me, it was so bad. It was so laggy. I'm hoping that.
You just hurt
It's not
Brennan's
like
soul.
That look on his face.
Sorry, but did you play it on PS4? Because it's
Nope.
awful.
Played it on Xbox. So that could be why.
It might. There could be something to it. If you didn't experience any lagginess, like
Servers
speed,
is where Microsoft tends to be better.
Oh, yeah?
Console-wise.
I'm not familiar with Xbox, so I wouldn't know that. So,
But
yeah,
Dark
like,
Souls combat was always smooth for me, PvP.
Yeah.
oh no, you,
Throughout
Are you
all
talking
three of
about the
them,
arena?
so.
yeah, everything, all the PvP.
Like it would just lag?
like you would
That's
you would
why I
be
had
in
both
situations
consoles.
where you could roll, and then as you're attacking,
Mhm.
like as you're rolling and attacking, your character model could be like here, and I'm slicing here, and I would hit you, and it'd just be like, and half your health goes away, and it's like,
I don't know if that was lag or broken hitbox, but
there's definitely lag.
Well, it
'cause
sounds
the
like it.
character was like 2 feet away. So.
Right. I know a lot of people use like lag switch was a big thing for Dark Souls PvP,
No shit.
just because like the
it's very effective in that
yeah,
game.
it's incredibly effective because if I'm right here and I look like I'm right here to you and I'm actually behind you backstabbing you, you're gonna lose. Like
Yeah,
you
for sure.
can't beat that.
Well, probably my proudest Dark Souls PvP moment, 3v1s notwithstanding, was a guy who was super lagged, and every time I hit him, the damage wouldn't show up for a good 15 seconds, and he hit me twice through the fight, and I destroyed him. So
Damn. That's pretty badass.
that's my game.
He
my
does
baby.
enjoy that. So it would be very. I've actually as far getting back to Ghosts, a lot of games this style, the fighting games, have gone very Dark Souls-esque in the combat. I mean, even God of War is kind of gone from the button masher that it was to kind of a Dark Souls more dodge. Dodge is very impactful. That kind of combat, and I as far as that goes, I really enjoy that. So if it keeps going with that with Ghosts, that would be excellent.
Yeah. For the combat in Ghosts, I really hope that when you get hit by a sword, they make it feel like you're getting hit by a sword. You
Right.
know what I mean? Not like
You're not a
sitting there
superhuman.
just slash.
Right.
I want it to be circling around one another, looking for
An opening.
That is not a word. Looking for an opening to attack your opponent.
Right.
So that's what I'm hopeful for the combat system, and I'm hoping that they're going to show that kind of stuff off, and not just trailers.
Well, do we know how close to release Ghosts is? Because that's
We
going to
don't.
be a big part of it.
We don't. Do you think we're going to get release dates?
No.
Sony's been
Not with
keeping those under wraps.
because Detroit's coming out
Yeah,
this
like,
month.
We just found out Detroit was coming out
Right.
2 months ago, maybe.
Yeah. And
Think
it's,
we'll have Ghosts this year?
no.
And like
I don't think so.
Ghost this year, probably
Spider-Man
not.
comes out in September, so there's no way
Yeah,
that we
that's
would
what I
get
thought.
that many Sony. I mean, that Spider-Man will be Sony's fifth
We may get Ghost this year.
exclusive.
I think out of the 4, it's realistic to say 2 this year, 2 next year. So we know Spider-Man's this year. What
Right.
else could be? Could Death Stranding be that far along?
No,
I don't think so.
No
I
chance.
don't think
Death
No way.
Stranding's-
Last year we only saw a cinematic, and the cinematic itself was only 25 seconds long. It wasn't very
Yeah.
long.
I don't think Death Stranding will be out.
And at
till
that point,
probably
people didn't even
fall
know
of
if
next
Norman
year.
Reedus was the main character.
Right.
Or so
Is that confirmed?
it's not. Nothing's confirmed.
So yeah, I can't imagine it would be Death Stranding.
Maybe it is just Spider-Man this year plus third party, and then next year is those three, all of them.
I mean, as far as if you look at it from
Plus
their
Days Gone,
perspective,
too.
there's no reason to rush anything.
No, they don't have
You've
it.
dominated the whole year. Why not just keep going with what you've got? You've got God of War exclusive. You've got Detroit's an exclusive, which we haven't discussed, mainly because I didn't realize it.
Yeah.
The fact that, I mean, they had Monster Hunter. Monster Hunter was an exclusive, but it blew up on Sony sales.
Straight up tore through it, yeah.
Yeah,
So
it did.
there's no reason to rush anything.
A
You're
big part
killing
of the Monster Hunter Rise was the fall of Destiny.
Yeah.
A lot of the Destiny people jumped over to Monster Hunter because it gave you the multiplayer experience everybody hoped for in Destiny 2, and they didn't get. So
Everyone
they jumped
at
ship
this
to
table.
Monster Hunter
Yeah.
as
Yeah,
people
literally
found out.
every one of us here did that exactly.
We
what
did.
you're
We all
saying.
did that. And then there were others that jumped ship completely for other games. More specifically, 2 games.
What games are we
What
talking
games would those be?
Oh, these were the games you may not have heard of. One's called PUBG and the other one's called Fortnite.
about? Gotcha.
Have you ever heard of those?
They're
Gotcha,
your
gotcha.
favorite, right?
Faves.
All of our favorites here.
So I just
Do
checked to see
people
if
still play PUBG? Is that still
Yeah, it's
popular?
actually very popular.
it's less popular now.
It just got a new map
It is
actually
less
recently.
popular, but it's still very popular.
Just got a new map recently.
Because Fortnite is free, and everyone really likes that free aspect.
It's free, yeah. You can't beat free. So what
And if-
and they're doing Marvel crossovers and stuff, and they
Yeah.
keep adding things.
Oh yeah,
and
they got that.
now
Marvel
they got
game.
celebrities. So anyway, you were looking at something. What did you find?
Oh, it's just literally just a quotation from one of the notes here. It says that it's possible.
What's possible?
You could see a date for 2018 for Ghost of Tsushima.
No shit. So if they did release
Possible.
two, it's most
Possible.
likely that Ghost.
It's
It
literally
has
just
to be.
says-
It would have to be Christmas
second
time.
one.
It has to be
literally
Christmas
just
time.
It would
says-
have to be. There's no way in hell that it's Last of Us.
And I'm gonna
No,
quote it
no
almost.
chance.
Sony's trailer from CES 2018 suggests that the game could launch in 2018. So just a
Okay.
suggestion. So
That was the last trailer I saw too. So
Right.
it's gone dark ever since then. So,
It would have to be Christmas time.
but
There's
man,
no way.
that game, like
Yeah,
the
but-
story in that game, looks so good.
Christmas time is.
Is it going to have multiplayer?
Well, yeah.
We don't know. Is it going to have PvP? We don't know. We don't really know if it's going to be. I think they did say that it is going to be open world, but what kind of world is it going to be? We don't know. So these are the games that they're focusing on for their exclusivity. But what are some other things that we may see on the stage? Personally, I think we may see Bungie come out and talk about their fall expansion. It's
on the
Bungie's-
Sony stage.
Yeah, it's Bungie has always come out on the Sony stage for
Ooh.
Destiny. For Destiny related things, they've always come out on the Sony stage and shown it, announced it there. So I think we're going to get the fall expansion, and I think they're going to reveal what this new mode they've been talking about is. And if you don't know that, they've been saying that there's going to be a new game mode in this, and it's the first time that it's ever been on a first-person shooter. Whatever this mode is.
Right.
Will we see it?
I don't know. I to be fair, as soon as Bungie kind of ripped my heart out with the Osiris thing, which I just couldn't. I didn't do anything. With
How
it.
did how was Warmind? Did you get into that at all?
It's not good.
No, really?
Bungie
Still?
has already
He
apologized.
was so hyped.
Wow,
over this
they
expansion, guys.
apologized?
I can see
They
the hurt in
apologized.
his eyes.
Wow.
Yeah, they just can't do it. They can't do it right. So now it's on the fall expansion to fix
They
it.
had to apologize.
You really
Again,
Issued an apology.
it's not the
thought
first
the
time.
online
That
team was
is
gonna save it.
insane.
To be fair, they should have people who know what they liked about the first one come in and actually say, "Yo, we like this. Can you do this?" And Bungie.
The thing is, they already took the grind out, which was what most people loved.
Well, they
How are they
added.
going to re-implement
They
that?
added a lot of new
bringing
exotic
the grind
quests.
back. The grind is actually
will-
back in Warmind. I'll talk to you guys more in another episode about
Where
all
we
the
won't.
things that I actually like about Warmind, and I'll tell you all the things I actually hate about Warmind. More specifically, Destiny still has no story. So, what else are we going to see? Let's get back to this Sony press
From-
conference.
from
I'm thinking for sure that Bungie's coming out there to talk about this fall expansion that is going to be the level of the Taken King. It's
It-
going to be that level.
It's got to surpass it at this point.
Yeah, you're right. It has
Two
to
separate
surpass it.
two separate editions they've released that they charge people for, and that they've. Now you're saying
Like-
they had to apologize for this
Again,
one? That's
They had
insane.
to apologize because of the mold of the first one.
Mhm.
They have followed it exactly like the first one. So all of the things they say were going to be better are not
Are
better.
the same.
And the way that they're releasing content is exactly like they did it in the first one, which everybody hated.
Right.
And that's why they're apologizing. So here we go with another fall expansion that's going to be the
Yikes.
big one.
PvP was actually better in D1, so
PvP was better, but there are PvP changes as well, so we can talk about that too. So I think we're going to get that reveal from Bungie. So who else? They're going to focus on indies, you think?
I wouldn't imagine that we would see much from indies as far as. I mean, they always show something, so I'm sure there will be a little bit. But I think if they've come out and said that they're going to focus on their core 4, we're going to see a ton on their core 4, and then we might see, like you said, from Bungie. I think they have to at this point, so we'll move on from that. As far as the rest of it, I'm interested to see, but I don't really know. We might hear it from. Is Biomutant? Do you know if that's Microsoft?
Biomutants, all of them.
Yeah,
It is.
It's all platforms.
So that would be interesting to hear if we could see some more about that. I don't know.
Will they be on the Sony stage then?
That's what I'm not sure.
think so.
I don't know if they would be on Sony or if they'd be on their own.
I don't even know if Biomutant. I think Biomutant.
They might be in like a sizzle trailer or something like that, but would they get actual dedicated time on stage?
Is
I doubt
Biomutant
it.
indie too?
I'm not really sure. Check on that. Who's
Yeah, take a
developing
look
that?
into that.
Um,
Because I would like to see more on it.
you know who
I
I
don't-
forgot though? Media Molecule, Dreams. That's definitely going to be on that stage.
I actually
They're the
haven't-
makers
I
of
haven't
Little
heard
Big
about that.
Planet.
Oh yeah, yeah.
You haven't
yeah.
seen Dreams?
No.
You guys have none of you guys have seen Dreams?
Mm.
Oh man, Dreams. Dreams is one of those games that's either going to be super successful
Oh, I take it
or
back.
a huge flop. Okay.
It's not an indie company. It's Nordic. THQ
Oh, it's
Nordic.
Nordic.
Oh
I would
They're
peg that more
well-known
for the
then.
Microsoft.
yeah,
guys.
Yes.
it's going to be on the other side. But yeah, so we can talk about that on the.
We'll get to
our next
Microsoft
topic.
later.
Yep.
Anyway, Dreams. Look it up, Jake. Quantic Media Molecule, not Quantic. Media Molecule, Dreams. So this is a game. It's a builder game, like Little Big Planet was, kind
Mhm.
of. So you create an avatar, and then you can actually create worlds and levels and everything. You can actually create music. You're creating games for
Right.
people to play. So in Little Big Planet, you were creating stages for people to go through,
Mhm.
and in this, you're actually creating full-length games for
Like
people to play.
worlds to explore for people.
And it's going to be all on their cloud, where you can go and
Just explore other people's
explore
worlds.
and
That's
say
very cool.
like you're an artist, right?
Mhm.
And you created some trees. You can upload that to the cloud, and you're making your game. You can
I
download
can
my
steal
trees that
some
I just
trees.
did,
That's very cool.
and you can use them. And everybody's going to be connected, making it. And I can go out and make some beats and put them in other people's games. I can put them up to the cloud, and other
Right.
people can be scrolling through music, and they like that song, and they take it.
I
and
think
make their game.
the way you described it is exactly correct. So it's either
Yeah.
going to be a game that people love and it blows up and it gets huge,
Yeah.
or it's going to flop really hard because people don't want to put the work in.
What's really strange about it, from what I'm just getting as a description of it, it's not just games. You have everything you could do here. Like, we're talking art, films, music, which you've already stated, and games, and anything in between and beyond.
Yeah.
So,
So they're very ambitious with this
Right.
dream of theirs.
I see what you did there. Very punny.
I didn't even intend it. It was just pathetic. So yeah, I think this is a good game for the streamers. People are going to stream this game. They're going to stream them building things. They're going to stream them playing things. They're going to stream maybe cooperatively doing things together.
Right.
Or they won't. So it's hard to tell what it's going to be like. So we definitely have to see more.
It's a very ambitious. Basically, what they saying that they want to do. It'll be very interesting to see how successful they are at it as well.
Yeah, we'll have to see like how the actual public accepts this game.
Right.
So
the thing about that is, if they accept it and actually love it, then that's going to change.
it's going to change everything.
Yes.
It could potentially change everything.
no more battle royals.
Oh man,
Yeah.
no! You know how many
Please.
fucking battle royales are going to be made in that game?
Oh my god, a fuck ton.
Good point. Hadn't thought about that.
At least they'll have really good music from Kevin.
No, none of my music will ever be in that game.
Do you have a choice?
Really?
Can you allow that?
Like, can
Like,
you
say
lock
if
it
you make
so only
music,
you can use it?
And then I want to make a battle royale.
I'm not going to buy
I'm
that
gonna
game
just
and make
steal
music
it.
and put it on there.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Why not? You don't want to
Because I get
share with the
paid for my
world, Kevin?
music. I'm not putting it up there for free for people.
That was my. That's
Unless
an interesting.
Enjoy
you-
that, subscribers.
Right. That's an
Unless
interesting
you, the
question.
society, want this of me,
It's muted.
I will do it.
So what we're saying here is
Leave a comment
we have,
if you want Kevin to make some music.
we have our graphic design head right here on this panel with Jake. So if you guys want some art from Jake or you want some music from Kevin, you leave a comment on the website tsgg.online and you let us know what you want from them as far as this game, as far as Dreams goes, because it's a very interesting topic that we've just come across here, where we it's going to be interesting to see when we get into the game whether or not you can actually choose to let people have your music or things of that nature. It's going to be interesting. I'm
Make some really generic music.
So I'm taking away two things from this. One, challenge accepted. Two, I'm never introducing a new game to you guys ever again.
There you go.
I mean, if we got to flex, I'm
You accept?
I'm okay to flex. Yeah. What's
How many
up?
votes do we need to do this? How
I
many
mean,
people?
That's good. We should set that up.
Yeah.
Decide
Might
because
do a
you
poll
could
on
do
the
like,
site
we'll do a poll on the site and
based
decide.
on the comments they leave.
We could design a really short game. I'm pretty sure, especially if they give us all the tools to make it.
They give you everything.
And if it's 3D animation, I know a little bit about that. I'm pretty
TSGG's
sure.
They give it all to you.
Flagship
And,
game.
Like I watched
TSGG's
I watched
flagship.
how simplified they made the creation
Yeah, I
process.
just saw some of that on there too.
Like it actually looks like it's fun to do. You
It
know
looks
what I mean?
trippy as shit.
It does. It looks really good. I'm really pumped for that game. I can't believe you guys have not heard of it. Especially you being a creative designer and stuff.
Not to be fair, like I think I talked about this a little bit beforehand. Usually, when it comes to video games, I keep my nose away from it unless it's
This is
in my
true,
face. Like Biomutant, literally the only reason why I've even found it is because Facebook kept punching me in the face with it until I'm like, fine,
Yeah,
what is it?
They were promoting it.
Yeah.
So
That's what we need to do.
do you think we're gonna
Punch it in the
see? Do you guys think we're gonna see Red Dead Redemption 2 on the Sony stage?
Not at all.
If anything, it'll be on Microsoft
Think it'll
probably.
be over there, Mike?
I
Yeah.
think so too.
I think it was normally with the original Red Dead. I think that's where they showed it off was
Microsoft?
with Microsoft.
Plus, didn't Sony have a bunch of glitches with
Yeah,
with
Sony
Red
had
Dead?
a lot of problems with it. So
Yeah, traditionally when the games are created on Xbox and they port them over, they have a hell of a time running on PlayStation 3. So it was all created on the 360 engine and then ported over to the PlayStation. And from every company, the games suffered in quality.
If Microsoft could have landed that as an exclusive, they might have had a chance.
Oh,
fighting
man,
back.
that would be
Imagine that.
insane.
Do
That-
you know how much Rockstar would charge for an exclusive?
Solid point.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, but I mean,
Oh.
it's-
I mean,
at this
GTA
point-
is still $60.
At this point,
so-
they need something like that. Microsoft really does need something like that. I know
They
we're
need-
jumping onto our
yeah.
next topic a little bit.
Before we get to Microsoft, this is the final question for Sony. How did they close the show?
I think
Last of Us 2, in my
Last of Us
opinion.
2 has got to be,
I'm
right?
gonna go for Death Stranding.
Yeah,
You think Death
I
Stranding's
thought it
gonna
was Last
do
of
it?
Us 2 as well. Jake did change my mind on that.
Really?
Because we saw just a little trailer, a little cinematic the first time with Death Stranding. I think Last of Us 2 probably has a lot more
'Cause it's
to
2.
show us.
Yeah, it's known.
Right,
we know
right,
what
we know
Last
what
of
it
Us
is. So
and
if they finish
They've
on a
got more
high
to
note
prove
with
Death Stranding.
yes. So I think it would be I think it would behoove them, as it were, to kind of show us that one last and
Right.
kind of because a lot of people, the hype builds as it goes.
Yeah.
So if they leave us wanting more of that and they show us a cool either cinematic, I'm not gonna say they're gonna show us gameplay because I really doubt they're that far along, but it would be it's gonna be very cool to leave us wanting more of that, and I think that Jake did change my mind with that. I think it will be. That's where they'll go with it.
Yeah, because it's gonna be one or the other. I think.
Yeah,
The
for
thing
sure.
with that, though, is that that's an unproven game, like you said, so I don't think they'll want to end on that. What if it's not taken well? What if it isn't received the way they want it to be? Although it is a Kojima game, so most likely it'll be
it's a
taken
Kojima
well.
game.
But
For sure.
Last of Us 2 has a huge following because the
does.
first one was one of the best games ever.
Which is, it's kind of the reason why I'm siding with them
Objectively.
on this, because The Last of Us 2 is
already
more
has
known.
that.
I see that as being their their middle portion, their
Right.
meatiest content.
I'm gonna predict a release date for Death Stranding too.
You're going for a release date?
Yeah,
I don't
Release.
think
Wow,
so.
that is-
We'll probably get a release
that is
for.
bold,
I would
sir.
expect one for Ghosts. Now that we've looked at it and we got
I
that
think-
comment, I think they might release one for that. I'd be excited.
Death Stranding, I think they may throw up 2019.
That's what I'm thinking
Yeah,
too.
okay,
But they
that's
won't give
fair.
us an actual
That's fair.
date.
Yeah.
Okay, so just a year.
They'll
Well, I
give us
mean,
next year.
to be fair, like from what I'm reading here, they didn't give much of a hint for any type of release. They said
No.
before it'll be released
don't
before the
even
Tokyo
know if it's
2020
in-
Olympics.
Wow.
Well, that's
Thank you
very
for that.
helpful.
So I'm thinking maybe if we get the E3, they might give us some more pinpoint.
I mean, do we even know
Either
if it's an alpha
2019
yet?
or 2010.
We don't.
Or,
Exactly.
The only
So
thing we
it
know
could-
about it is the
it's really
cinematics that
pretty.
we've
They
seen.
could
And
really
we don't
only
know
have
about
the
that.
cinematics. So
Like we don't even know the cast that's actually in the game.
exactly.
Right.
I mean, when we think
So
about
it could be a 2020 game, honestly.
It
when we
could
think
be.
about like a Kojima game, though, I mean, I'm not going to sit there and say that it's not going to be a pretty game because I'm
No.
pretty sure it's going to hit us
No way.
with.
Of course, it's
Oh,
gonna
of
be
course.
a pretty game.
Yeah.
It's a Kojima game.
And-
Plus, they're using the engine that they used in Horizon. So
Ooh.
you
And if
know
you
it's
look,
going to be pretty.
if you look at the cinematic,
I don't know about pretty.
gorgeous.
'cause it looks
it's
really dark.
and they go
but
like
it'll be a
dark,
dark, brooding
okay.
world.
brooding. Yes.
Bad choice of word.
Yeah.
It's going to be beautiful.
They had a lot of
graphically splendid.
I was
Yes.
There you go.
I was reading up on the Death Stranding stuff. They have a lot of like weird symbolism throughout the whole entire thing, especially the name Death Stranding.
That's really any Kojima game.
If anybody,
Yeah.
Lots of
if you
symbolism.
guys don't know what
Always.
Death Stranding is, it's actually when a whale beaches itself.
Okay, I did not know
I
that.
did not know that.
Yeah.
Interesting.
That's really interesting. I love Kojima so much.
And that, I mean, you
Which
could
is
take
why
that
their,
from a lot.
Their first teaser trailer, by the
Was
way, was a
him-
bunch of dead sea creatures, and he was on the beach
Yep.
with
He was.
with the
There
baby
was
and the
quite a
black
bit of
oil
that.
hands
So
all
it's
over.
low,
him.
low.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw it too, Jake. It was,
Some-
it was good.
Some are saying that the baby is actually Norman Reedus. Like it's some
That
type
would
of
be
time skip thing. He has
so
to.
trippy.
He has to save himself.
Is this Terminator? John Connor coming back to
It's really
save
it-
himself.
Death Stranding turns into Terminator.
Come with me if you want to live.
I'm glad you went there and not Christian Bale.
Decent accent.
Thank you for that.
I appreciate that.
It was pretty good. Because if you're gonna do Christian Bale, then you gotta. Guys.
Wow.
No Christian Bale hate here.
Wow, Kevin does not
It's
like
not
a lot
allowed.
of people here.
I mean, to be
It's
fair,
not true. I love everybody
Except for Christian
except for
Bale.
people.
All right,
Garfield.
moving on.
Well, it's just because some people say he's the best Batman ever, and I don't think he is.
I honestly
What
think
was
Affleck
that?
was a better
I want to
Batman.
pause a moment. Can we
Batfleck.
rewind?
You want to
And I just
rewind
saw-
and
I
listen
just
to that
saw-
over?
where he
I was
said-
trying to do the imitation of Kevin Bork that I heard a while ago.
It was
You
a
want to
good
bring out the
imitation.
Kevin Bork? Because I'll bring him out.
No, it's not allowed.
Don't bring him out.
I'll leave him back in the
Banned.
closet.
He's
Banned.
caged. Cage that beast. So,
Anyway,
guys, that is our coverage of what we're predicting for the Sony conference. We're going to get to the other conferences when we get back. This is TSGG Chat. Welcome back to TSGG Chat. This is our E3 predictions episode. You've heard about Sony. Now we're going to move on to Microsoft. What will Microsoft be doing at this E3 press conference? Personally, I think they need to come out hard for this, and that they need to be the biggest presentation this year. Just because of where they're sitting at right now, they can't afford to fuck up. Do you guys agree?
100%.
I
Yeah.
mean, as it stands, Sony's selling 2-1. So, what is it that they can do to reverse some of this? They're not giving up on this generation. If they were, they wouldn't have released
The X.
the X. And so now they have the most powerful console. What are they going to give us for games?
Right. And I think that's basically what they have to do. They have to give us something that uses all of the power that they provided us with the X.
Yeah.
So they've now, there's, as far as native 4K, as far as just server power,
Yeah.
things of that nature, they've got it all there. Now they have no excuse not to give us we need exclusives, because
So, for this conference, Phil Spencer comes out,
Mhm.
Xbox boss, and he says, "We've got the console. Now here are the games," or something like that. Something fucking epic.
right.
First game we see, Halo 6.
That's where I was headed. because that is their big exclusive,
And it
the
has
one
been
that's
forever.
sold forever.
That's when you think of Xbox, you think Halo, right?
That and Gears of War.
Gears, yeah, it could be
Yeah.
Gears.
Gears flopped
5.
so hard though.
Gears
for the
5.
last one.
They shouldn't. Well, they should have ended at 3, in my opinion.
I actually
Absolutely.
agree with
Although
that.
I think Halo should have ended at 3 too. So
Agreed. They shouldn't have tried to push.
The problem
Bungie.
is they haven't. This is the exact problem. They haven't given us a new exclusive in ages.
State of Decay.
They haven't. So
State of Decay is not even a full game.
they have a lot to give to us. And one of the things that they've been saying is that this is their biggest E3 showing ever. What are they showing us?
It's good to hear.
I mean, it has to be. So I would hope so.
Sea of Thieves definitely getting DLC.
Oh God, Sea of Thieves is so bad.
It's not going to lead the show.
It
but-
oh God, I
So
hope not.
Sea of Thieves can be saved. It's not dead.
No Man's Sky did get saved.
No Man's Sky got saved.
Kind of.
For Honor got saved. You guys were out before. You don't know what those games are like now.
Right.
It can happen. We've seen it happen. So Sea of Thieves can be saved. Rare is a great developer. If I have faith in anybody saving the game, they can do it.
No, I mean, that's not to say that Sea of Thieves is absolute trash. It's just that
They just have to
That's
make some
pretty much
changes.
what I've
Yeah.
heard about
It-
it.
I've heard absolute
trash.
I mean, I played it once and I dropped it down because there was no reason to play it. It literally is just the same monotonous gameplay without
exactly.
an actual end game that you work towards. You literally are just griefer versus griefer is what that game
Let
is.
me translate Drake here real quick. Trash.
Just for our listeners, if you wanted to skip over Jake's part real quick and trash cans.
Yeah, we're gonna
That's all that is.
we'll put a timer of when to skip.
When to skip.
I think they could be saved. I would like to see a lot of customization added to it.
Yeah.
Weapons that matter.
Honestly,
Weapons.
Yeah, the customization
Weapons
isn't
that matter
the
is
big
a big
thing.
thing.
It's the actual weapon.
Yeah.
The customization is not the big thing because they give you a whole bunch of shit to play with, but it's
Right.
just that none of it matters. You're literally
Right.
just reskinning your stuff. What I want to see
They need a story mode.
if I was to come back, I want to come back to an actual game where as you
Content.
continuously go
Right.
forward, it feels like you're playing a game and not just repeating the same motions where you go to an island, there's no skeletons there, and then you dig up a treasure chest and surprise skeletons. And then you grab the treasure chest and you run in hopes to not die by skeletons, and then you get to your boat and then it's, lo and behold, already sunk by some other griefer sitting there taking all your stuff.
Waiting for you.
Yeah.
So
and then they
I
get
think
the
that the
treasure chest.
development's too far where they won't be able to make the change.
They can't add that stuff at this point.
Well, they could add content. Like, the name of the DLC is supposed to be Cursed Sales, so that kind of wants you to think that it's
More
story-based.
And it
Skeletons.
sounds like, more skeletons.
Or,
There might be a
A
Ghost Pirates or
100
something like that. That would
Ghost
be
Pirates, that they're skeletons.
Not
Has to be
skeletons,
fun.
ghosts.
Ghosts.
Different
With
this time.
weapons that are the same as yours that don't do any more damage because they're the
The
same.
only way to defeat the ghosts is to burn their bones.
To be fair, like
And
look,
salt
Okay.
them.
Which are in
Skeleton.
skeleton form and do fight you.
they did in the combat version of it. The combat was pretty seamless and smooth, other than the fact that it was.
Wasn't it just button clicking though?
I mean, that's
Was
pretty
there
much
any
it.
strategy to it? Just mashing?
There's block. You got the
block mechanic.
yeah. You have block
Yeah.
mechanic and then move to the side mechanic. That's about as good as you got. And then you swing. But the thing about it is the monsters are kind of unique because every skeleton, lo and behold, there's a lot of them, are different. Like, you have skeletons that literally you can just hack and slash away until they're dead, or you have skeletons that are made out of, like, tree and bark, and apparently bullets don't really matter as much as a sword does in comparison. Or you have skeletons that cannot be harmed unless they're in water because they're made out of metal. So
those are
rust.
highlights, for sure.
Yeah.
Can I
Bits.
ask how you get a tree skeleton or a metal skeleton?
It's an ent.
I don't know,
And-
man. Roll up.
It's a dead end. Is that what we're going with here?
Yes.
Hopefully the game's not a dead end. I'm definitely cutting that out.
That was
was
a, no, you're going to leave that in
Leave
there.
that
You're
right
gonna
in there.
You're
Leave
gonna
it in.
You're gonna
Leave
leave
that
that
right
in there.
Ugh,
Kevin lost that most popular poll.
man.
One out. Blunder he just
The
made.
problem is with them, with Microsoft, whatever we're seeing, it has to be new. We can't see. I mean, Halo 6, would it be cool? Absolutely. But then Gears of War 5, yeah, that'd be really cool because it's just the same. The problem is it's the same titles, it's the same exclusives year after year for them. And we're not getting any like Brennan mentioned. We did get State of Decay, which is
Right.
a fun game.
But that releases before E3, so
Right, and
That one-
as
that
far
might be-
as
he
that
means
goes,
exclusives as far as it.
it's not going to be on the show. It's not going to be in the conference.
Right.
So Halo 5 and Gears 4, didn't they not try to do something new with those? And they failed.
Yeah.
I mean,
So
they made
what
you a
did they
different
do?
Character. That was really it.
Yeah.
What did they do with a Halo 6? What did they do with a Gears 5 that would make it succeed?
Well, either they do a 100% reboot where it's actually something that matters, or they end it and stop fucking going to it because it doesn't make sense.
That's
So
the
the
route
continuation
I would go for.
is done.
Right,
and
I
it's a
would
new
hope.
story, new characters.
Yes.
Well, Gears
I
of War
like the
5
new
was
Mass
new
Effect,
characters.
but
it didn't matter. It's the same game.
It wasn't new characters. It was Marcus and his kid.
Yeah.
And his buddies.
Yeah, but it was new characters.
It was
other
the
than
same
Marcus.
thing, same squad mechanics.
Exactly.
You got a
But it was
Joe
the same
Sperry.
game.
On those
but it was the-
characters? Is that what it was?
I was actually a
Mostly?
really huge fan of the Gears of War series.
Me too.
Me
I
too,
was
until the
massive.
fourth. I read the
until
books.
The fourth, exactly.
Yeah. You read
As
the books
you-
too?
No.
Oh, there was.
Oh.
Nice.
I read the books, yeah.
Like
I read
graphic novels or
Yeah.
No,
actual
I read
books?
the books. I read the actual books, and
Nice.
they say buddy a lot. Buddy is a word that is used every other sentence in that book.
It's a good word.
Buddy.
So we mentioned
You're
a
my
little
buddy,
bit
buddy.
about release dates. Do we get the release date right here on this stage for Crackdown 3?
Yeah.
Yes.
It's got to happen, right? They announced this game way too early. They promoted it way too early, and it went dark.
I mean, so when you look at this, you
There's
have to
gonna
think
be a
about.
lot of letdown with that game. Let me just get that. I don't
You
think
think
it's
so?
going to be what people wanted.
Well, I mean, to be fair, I never.
Just how hyped it was. I don't think it's going to hit that.
I was never.
I think right now, if they don't promote it hard, it's dead on arrival. Because of just how the negative... It's so negative. There's nothing but negativity around it right now. Like, the most
All for
positive
me.
thing
How
that
was
there
Crackdown
is
2?
Terry Crews being
Terry Crews.
in the trailer. Other than that, there's no
He's a great
positivity
man.
to this game. Like, the early
He's
play...
hilarious, man.
Early gameplay is showing it's crap. So they have to come out hard with this one if they're going to have
So
it
you're saying
succeed.
guns a-blazing.
Guns
like,
a-blazing,
I mean,
release date,
that has to be their whole
gameplay demo.
presentation.
Maybe
It has
they're
to
going to
be.
have people on stage playing it for you to watch, similar to what EA did with Battlefield.
So the big gist is literally we expect if Microsoft is literally planning to say it's the biggest thing that Microsoft is going to get, then there's going to have to be a new title. There has
Yeah.
to be.
And
Like,
what would be interesting is that we haven't heard anything.
Nothing.
So nothing's leaked, nothing's come out.
No
so
leaks.
if they want to compete with Sony, especially this year, Sony's blowing them out of the water. They've got to come out. The thing is that I'd be interested in: is there a game coming out this year, or is it going to be?
Do you
future?
think Microsoft would be so bold to say, "This is Crackdown 3. This is a demonstration of it live. Now it's for sale."
even then, that's not good enough. Like,
You don't think that's even good enough?
I don't
to
think that's
kickstart
That's
good.
it?
bold, and I don't think it would
That's
happen.
trendy, man. That
I think
could
it would
really
happen.
spark something.
To be fair, I mean, I know
if
what
they
you're talking
did that,
about.
it would work. I think
was-
it would sell.
I want to say Nintendo did that, didn't they? No.
Nintendo, no, Sony did it.
Sony did that, yeah.
Sony
So-
did it with a PS Plus game, though.
Right. But the thing about this
But
is
it worked for that game. If that game had released just on the PlayStation Store or some other time, would it have been downloaded that many times?
Right.
I don't think
Yeah.
it would have.
on the talk of like repetition and them needing, I think they just need a new title, and I think they need to make a title that pops.
They need.
Oh, no, it's Crackdown 3. It's coming.
I mean, sure, that's
need-
great, but remember, there's Crackdown 1 and 2, Halo 5 billion and 6 to 6, and then there's Gears of War. Like, repetition is not what you always need for titles like that unless you have a really good game. You're talking Halo has an expansive and beautiful universe, but everyone got sick of it after a while. And
Open world Halo would be insane.
open world Halo would be dope.
Would be nuts.
Do you think they could
like
make
a young Spartan in training,
would be
Yeah.
insane.
crash land on a planet, open world.
Yeah.
Oh my
Here,
god.
just take it,
we
Microsoft.
just have
Just
it.
have it.
Just take that out.
Make the game.
404, here you
Could
go.
you imagine if they came out and made a Halo game just to spit in the face of Destiny in Bungie and
Oof.
say, this is what Halo's going to be, and they make something that's similar to what the Destiny universe is?
What
What-
it should have been.
What they
Right.
They
should
take
do.
it and they
Because they could write the story.
Isn't that what BioWare is doing with Anthem, though?
No. BioWare's doing something different with Anthem.
But also despite Destiny. Let's be realistic.
I mean, it may not be
I mean,
despite.
I
the
hope it's a-
Destiny killer is what that was.
It's
quoted.
going
Like,
to be without a doubt.
Bungie and
I would
Microsoft
Man, okay.
did not
Hide the heart
leave
out of it.
Yeah,
on
let
the
me-
friendship
just
level.
Tilting the
They're
tape
not
off.
They
friends.
hated each other.
Here's what I think. If you because we were talking about the open world Halo thing. Imagine, if you will. Now, don't get really mad at me. But what if you had a Halo game that had the similar aspects to Far Cry? So you had a Halo game that has this open world that you can go around with, but you have actual role-playing parts of it too, where you have abilities. Imagine if they had that. What a
yeah. I mean, I would love it. Like
I would buy that.
Even
I think I'd go right back into it again. I'd
Yeah.
be like, yeah, it's time to
even if it wasn't,
jump back in.
if it didn't have the Far Cry elements, where it didn't have like, it would be cool to see them have some sort of skill system, sort of the way Destiny
A
1
nice
did it, with
progression
like
system would
the
be nice.
like you had a melee, you had a grenade,
Right.
Like you don't need an expansive skill tree. It's
No.
it's still a Halo game. It's a shooter, you know.
Yeah.
But to like Brennan said, you're a young Spartan. You crash landed on an open, like
Hostile
unterraformed,
covenant planet.
hostile planet, and you got to fight your way through. It's open world, so maybe somebody else crash landed. There's quests you got to do. There's things you got to do to improve your armor, things like that. That'd be incredible.
Yeah, and then they have
I'm
like
just really sick of linear games. Like, I've always been an open world RPG guy, but
Absolutely.
I mean-
just to the point I don't even want more linear games. Like, there's just nothing left there for me.
I don't mind. I don't mind if it's linear in, as long as it's not too linear, I guess.
I mean, I could name games that are linear that I absolutely adore. Like, Uncharted series, Last of Us.
Right? Yeah. Like, but they have an openness to
Open
it.
world aspects, right?
Yeah, 'cause
like
the la-
Last of Us was great.
The Last of Us, what I liked about that game is a lot of different maps that they gave you. You had multiple choices to get from point A to point B.
Yeah.
And
So
with
as
part
long
2,
as you
I hope
have
they expand
choice,
on
Me
that.
too. I agree.
yeah, as long as you have choice in
Oh,
your linear activity.
You're talking like a
Right.
little bit more of a. You have
I
a
mean,
widening scope.
This is why a game like Detroit Become Human can work.
Mm.
It's got
Because
5
there
million
are
and
so
7
many
endings.
choices.
How much?
5 million and 7.
No.
Wow.
That's a joke.
Oh.
5 million and 7.
I almost believe
Lucky
you there.
7.
I'll do the math on it. Because if 3 characters, let's say 4 choices each time,
And you assume that one of those
And-
choices can give you a possible different ending.
right?
Yeah.
In choices, your choices between the 3 characters interact.
And vary, yeah.
It-
There's going to be a lot
It's
of
a
endings.
Okay, guys, that is great, but that is not part of the Microsoft press conference.
Oh,
We're talking about software for the Microsoft press conference, but also we should talk a little bit about hardware. Yes, the X is out, but what other things could they be coming out with? Will they have new peripherals?
You mean like a Connect 2?
It'd be interesting to see them go VR here.
Ooh.
Something VR. That would be an incredibly interesting aspect for them to go. You got something to share?
So,
Well, there was a leak a couple of days ago. It's still unconfirmed, so
Go for
who
it.
knows if it's true, but Microsoft's accessibility-minded Xbox controller. I'm looking at it right now. It's a strange picture to say the least.
Oh,
is.
no.
I took a look at it too. Like, for us, we wouldn't need that, but for people that maybe
Are you like phones? Phone
can't-
gaming? 'Cause
yeah,
it's-
well, no, people that
if
actually
they're naming it
need
accessibility related
issues
it's-
that have maybe they have something wrong with their hands.
yeah,
so they
arthritis
can't
issues.
necessarily grip standard controller.
Something actually very cool.
arthritis.
Your father was
Yeah.
talking about how with his hands he has
You can't.
with
can't
older
play.
gamers it struggles for him. That would be incredibly cool.
That would be
for
great for him.
Because
Yeah,
that's like the
because-
simple back to the basics
Yeah.
controller.
What do you
which-
think?
He loved Atari.
right.
He loved NES. He liked SNES, and then he was done
You think
because
that would?
too many buttons came, and he just couldn't. He couldn't grip the controllers.
Right.
He was a construction man his whole life, and he has arthritis.
So that would be cool.
accessibility will help get more players playing games again, and I think that's a great initiative by Microsoft.
Oh,
and
absolutely.
I wish them all the success, and I hope that more peripherals like that come out. So
If you think that that's going to be like
I
what's
like
actually
that
coming,
a lot from Microsoft.
Yeah, if it
It's
is-
a
Yeah.
good move.
the question that I'm going to ask next is, do you think that's gonna be the biggest wow factor that they could come with?
No.
I don't.
No,
That's just
absolutely
going to be
not.
some
I think-
hardware they preview there. I think.
If you want to look at it from just a basically pragmatic view, it's a very good PR
It is.
move. You
course.
look very good. Just help. You're basically helping people that need it, and it allows them to play the game.
Plus, that's
So
a whole
that's-
tier of like untapped
It is,
customers
yeah.
Right.
who can't game anymore.
And it's a great mindset to be in. Like, we have these great games that we want everybody to experience. Unfortunately, some people can't experience them. What can we do to help get them
To make
be
sure
able
they
to
can.
experience these games? That's great by Microsoft.
It absolutely is.
I
And
respect
that is
them a lot
if
for that.
it is a rumor still, so we can't say that it is substantiated.
I'm really hoping that's going to be on the
That would be
stage.
very cool. Yeah,
I really do.
absolutely.
I hope we see the final build of it. I hope they show off in person
Use.
the final build
Showing,
of it,
like,
how it
use would
works,
be
the
great, yeah.
customization maybe.
Yeah, absolutely.
What is it? The Elite controller has customization options, so maybe they can pull from that to create this.
Just saw
Oh, yeah.
that today. Actually, it's like one of the Scuff controllers, like
Yeah.
$170 right now.
So yeah, I'm
Beautiful.
really excited about that. To me, that's very exciting. Is it the wow factor of the show? No.
Probably not. Another.
The wow factor of the show is probably going to be one of three things. It's going to be Halo, it's going to be Anthem, or it's going to be Fable.
Ooh, we
Regarding-
actually hadn't talked about Fable.
Regarding
Go ahead.
Fable,
Fable 4.
I
That
don't
was
know if hopefully it's a rebrand and just Fable again, like they did with God of War. I like that a lot, actually.
I do like that too.
Take it back to its
Just
roots when Fable
start it
was
over.
truly amazing.
Yeah.
But with that, I did just see there was a rumor recently about a new IP possibly for Microsoft. They're opening a new studio in California. So that could be Fable if
It
we're
could
looking
be.
at it.
Yeah, because Microsoft owns Fable.
Right.
Lionhead's out. Because they
For good reason.
Yeah, they
Yeah, this is
They
a whole
parted
new studio,
ways
too. So
after that MMO-ish release and card
Yeah.
game. I think they made a card game, and that was the end of it. And Microsoft owns the license, and they're hiring a new studio to do Fable. That is actually known. Like, they are working on Fable. Are we going to see it at this show? Do you think we see it?
if they
Oh yeah.
want the wow
Oh yeah.
factor,
They're gonna
that's
look for
be
wow
Fable.
I
factor.
agree.
And they're going to take it back, and they know they're going to take it back to what Fable was that made it so popular. Oh, absolutely.
Morality.
That'd be incredible.
Choices being the main.
They
word.
would. Everybody would be excited about it again because Fable 1 and 2 and some aspects of
changed gaming.
3, they were fantastic. You could, especially if you were growing up a kid and you wanted to do bad things and kick chickens and throw devil
I know.
horns,
You
could do
I know,
it.
It's
Like,
so good.
Chicken.
I
kicker.
loved the Fable franchise so much. So
yeah, it was.
I am ready for Fable to return.
Absolutely.
And another thing, he mentioned that it was a brand new studio, hasn't released a game yet. They're gonna want to make a mark. So
A new Fable could do that.
if you're blessed basically and said, here, fix Fable, well, take it back to what it was, and it's your
Or
first game as a company.
Maybe not so much fix Fable, but this is what Fable should be.
Right. And now go with it.
make it.
And you're gonna want to make a mark. So
Yeah.
that it would be. I like the situation that basically the picture that paints.
Nice.
Alternatively, it could just be a brand new IP, and Fable's already being worked on by an
That's true as well,
established
yeah.
It
Yes.
could be. Yeah, it could
studio,
be like
which is also interesting.
they said this is their biggest E3 ever, so we're going to see a lot of stuff that we don't even know exists.
Right.
One of those things that we're going to see, listen to this. Phil Spencer has said he is talking to JRPG makers. He wants those on Xbox. The Xbox boss wants JRPGs on Xbox. This is the perfect opportunity for them to announce any JRPG that hasn't been announced yet, or maybe Microsoft brings Final Fantasy VII on the stage.
Ooh, no.
That's not going to happen.
No.
That's Sony. You think that's
I
Sony?
would 100% disagree with you.
It's going to be Sony.
Yeah, but
I will take that
And
to
what
my
if they do?
grave. If they
yeah,
do,
where are we gonna
If-
place a bet on this?
If they
that
do-
happened, that would be the moment.
if they do, I will personally buy you Final Fantasy VII myself.
all three of us.
The best and biggest
yeah,
edition you could
it's got to
think
be
of.
all three.
Fine, we'll go
whole
for
group.
all three
All
of you.
three.
We'll do all three. I will do that. I will put myself in debt for all of you if that happened.
You heard it here
fair.
first,
Collector's
people.
edition.
I want the,
the
that's what
biggest-
you said. The
You're
biggest
getting
and
the
best.
biggest
the
edition.
premium, the premium of premiums.
The King's edition.
The King.
The Final Fantasy
Emperor
VII. You
God
waited 10
Viceroy.
years for this edition.
Yeah, it probably won't happen, but
But if it did,
I mean,
but then y'all are getting video games.
Microsoft could.
but really, like,
Could be the
what would be
turning
more
point.
of a statement for a JRPG than Final Fantasy VII?
Yeah.
Ooh, that would be excellent. That would be a good way for them.
Oh, yeah.
That
Maybe
would
a
be a good way to
Tales
make
game.
headway.
Do we know if
Tales
Sony
would be
has
good.
that locked up though?
The Final Fantasy license.
Yeah,
I know
I
that
don't
they-
believe so.
7,
I know 7
Oh,
is
okay,
coming, but I
7.
don't think that I don't.
Like, we know that this is what we know of
What if they
7.
make
7
them
is coming.
exclusive?
We
Oh
know
my.
that no, it would never be exclusive because they've already been shown on the Sony stage, so that they can't do that.
Tragic.
But we do know
That'd be
that
nuts.
7 was being remade.
Mhm.
It was reborn.
Yep.
And a studio was working on it. That studio has been removed. They are no longer working on it. And that the original studio and the original members of the team that worked on Final Fantasy VII to begin with, the original, are working on this remake. They are making this. And we also know that it was supposed to be in episodes. They were supposed to do like episode 1, episode 2, episode 3.
What a mistake.
And that has been axed, and this is going to be a full release.
Thankful.
That was such a bad idea.
And we also know that they are very, very early in development now because they are basically starting over again. Because recent postings showed a job posting for the creation of their battle system.
Looks like I gotta go back and
another 3 years or so before that releases.
let's just
Yeah,
let's,
and honestly,
If
that
you,
might be a next-gen
If
game.
you Google Final Fantasy VII Remaster, the very first article that comes up says 3 years out,
3 years out at least.
2018.
oh the heartbreak.
Has it been 10 years since that was announced?
To be fair, Final
I
Fantasy
think we saw the trailer in 2012.
The-
12.
the
so
first like there
Nobody
six,
expected.
6-ish years ago.
because I know that every single time Sony has made a new thing, they're always like, "Hey, look at this little 5-minute ditty of Final Fantasy VII," and then all of a sudden, nothing happens.
By the
because-
way, we're going to scrap this.
yeah, well, Squeenix I think has saved that trump card because they know that at this moment they never needed that cash money. Trump card, that makes sense. Trump card.
No, you're
Yeah,
right.
it's nothing about that. That makes sense. Keep going. I liked your stuff, Jake.
You looked at me.
Nah, he's looking at me.
Anyways, I don't think they're ever going to have, in the sense of this, I think that they could easily just say, oops, we forgot, and they're never going to do it again, and they'd still be okay with it. Like,
Yeah,
they don't give a shit about that.
probably.
Yeah, because
That's why it would be very interesting to have Microsoft bring them out and be like, oh, by the way, we care about you guys.
they're so
Yeah.
scared.
We know
that
you guys want
That
it.
would make a statement.
I think
It
that
would
they're.
make a bold statement.
I'm going to call this right now for Squeenix. I think that they're terrified of remaking it because, let's be realistic,
With the hype.
there are
The
so many.
expectation.
Mhm.
There are so many fanboys who love that series so much that, I mean, I know a few people who have the one-winged angel tattooed to them somewhere, and that's
Yeah.
upsetting and sad. But
Depending on where it is, I guess.
it's still bad. I played the game.
Kevin has 3 on his lower
Yeah,
back.
I've seen them all. They're holding hands.
Yeah, one right in the crevice of his
Oh,
buttocks.
easy. Don't tell them all my secrets.
That's where the meteor is
the meteor.
for the logo.
A new Crystal Novalis at least twice a day. Emerges.
Oh my god! No, we let this happen. Let's.
God.
Do we actually have any idea of what JRPG it might be? Is it just going to be releases of games that are already out?
I think they're gonna
I
hit us
hope
with
not.
a Tales
No
of.
way.
Are we going to get an announcement?
I think we're gonna
Yes.
get a Tales of exclusive because they've done exclusives for Tales of before.
Yeah, that's what we're
That
leaning
would be
towards.
good.
Tales of
I think it's a brand new.
brand new.
Brand new.
I mean,
They're saying it's the
Just
biggest
for
ever. I'm going to go
Microsoft?
bold for it, and I'm going to say it's
Yeah,
a
but
brand
really,
new
what do they got to
JRPG.
lose? I'd go
Yeah,
for.
yeah,
I'd,
absolutely.
I'd,
Get to lose.
All right. I can
You
accept
have
that.
the best console on the market, and you got no games. This is
Yeah.
where you show us we got games.
oh, they got game.
And the biggest thing
As
is,
an owner of that
then I'm
console,
gonna-
I want the game.
the problem
It's a
I'm going to look
fantastic
at here
console.
is it going to come out this year?
Mm.
So we don't have any knowledge of any of these games.
Yeah, that's the other question.
Are they going to come out this year?
What do they announce versus what do they release?
Right.
That's also another
Honestly,
question.
that's not a bad thing too. If they did a couple surprise
Releases and things of that nature towards the end of the year, that'd be incredible.
That would be great. That would be an excellent way of them saying, "Well, hey, we didn't forget about you guys. Here's some good old exclusives, by the way, that are coming out next month." Whap whap whap, and then there you go.
I am 100% positive that is the window for Crackdown 3. It's either at the show or within 1 month after the show.
Ooh, bold.
It has to be.
They have to.
Be. It just has to be.
It's been a long time. coming.
Will Microsoft be debuting Borderlands 3? It's time.
Borderlands
Possibly.
3 has had
It's
such a
time.
cult following for so long. I think it would be a good move.
Where do they normally? Is it usually Xbox that they come from? Just Gearbox.
If they do this, it would definitely be one of the biggest announcements this year.
And I know for a fact Gearbox doesn't usually have their own thing.
Right, their own stage.
No, they don't.
right?
No,
Yeah.
they don't.
I'm saying if that was to give me something, if you give me a Borderlands 3,
I mean, they have come out and said, we want this to be our biggest E3. That's something we have to take. So
And
if
Borderlands was
this
lost.
isn't huge, it's gonna crush them, because you've seen the year Sony's having. You're gonna come out and say this is gonna be our biggest E3 reveal, and you don't, and you disappoint, that you're gonna get crushed. So everything we're talking about, we there's a very real possibility that we see.
Yeah.
Because
I think we're going to see the reveal of it, and we may get at the end of the trailer 2019. It's not going to come out this year for sure. We would already know about it if it was.
Yeah.
That's a game that's too large to say, hey, this is coming out
In a month.
now.
Right.
but
No.
I mean, when was the last actual Borderlands? What was it, the prequel?
The prequel,
The
right?
The pre-sequel or whatever it is?
Yeah.
How long ago has it been since then?
I
think it
never
was
played any of the
2015
Borderlands.
maybe?
so-
I want to say it's been 3 years. So I mean, if they did give us a release date along with it,
I would be shocked if they released this year.
I mean, early next year.
I could go for that.
early next year's gonna have to compete with Anthem.
Yeah, but then again,
That's hard.
Yeah,
But-
maybe Q2 then.
tax time in February. People don't just buy one game, do they?
They
Do
buy-
do we have a release date? If we get a release date for Anthem,
I
it's
believe-
not going to be in that window.
They said January or February
They're
2019.
gonna go for February.
They're going for February, so that's their big February
Right.
release. We
Nothing's
might
gonna
see.
compete with that.
So God of War came
Hopefully,
March.
Nothing can compete with that.
Maybe Borderlands 3 comes
Well,
March.
The thing with God of War, I think they pushed release a little bit because of Monster Hunter. So Monster Hunter came out in February.
So you think God of War may have been there February if it weren't for Monster Hunter?
If Monster Hunter didn't blow up the way it
So
did.
then,
God of War
what
came
are we
out
getting
in
next after
April,
God
by
of
the way.
War? Oh, it was April. Yeah, you're right.
April.
What are we getting next? We're getting Detroit in May, so
Right.
maybe Borderlands 3 hits May. I
Hmm.
could see that.
Yeah, absolutely. That's, what is that, 9 months? 9 months from...
I could see that.
Oh, yeah.
So that's a possibility, guys.
Either you
know,
guys big Borderlands players?
I love
No.
it.
You love
I
it?
like the game, but I'm
I've never
not
played
huge
any
I
of them,
played it
so-
religiously for a very long
played
time.
I
So
played
if
it.
it does come out, is this something I
Oh,
would be
oh,
interested
we're-
in, knowing
you-
me?
It's
You're gonna
a
get it.
grind.
Do you like
It's literally-
Diablo?
Yes, I love
You like
Diablo.
first-person shooting?
Not as much as I used to.
You put them together like they had a beautiful child, and that's what you get.
You put them together. You choose your class, and you go
I didn't
into
know there was a class system.
Pandora.
There is.
Is it going to be on Pandora again?
No, I don't.
Probably.
I mean, they killed
You
the
don't think
super
so?
monster on Pandora.
know.
What else
It's
is
the
there to do there?
Second time they've killed a super monster.
Yeah.
They've killed 2 so far.
I have seen YouTube videos on it. So I do know
Pandora's
stuff
awesome.
Like that.
So you know of the game then.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
it's a really, really good game.
There's a lot of cool stuff in there.
There's a
and then
loot system
and
too,
they're-
right?
The loot system, the weapons,
Their
feel
DLC is so good.
different from one another. When you get a weapon and you get a higher tiered one, that shit feels strong.
Oh, and I like their every weapon design is different too. Like they have one weapon where if you run out of bullets, you just throw the gun, and it's a grenade,
Yeah.
and it blows up, and then it respawns in your hand.
Yeah.
Now,
The design is incredible.
That does sound really good. Is it single player, multi, co-op?
It's
All
got
the
to be
above.
it's got to be an
All the above?
MMO,
That
right?
sounds
It's co-op.
It's
couch co-op
MMO,
like Diablo.
You can do couch.
Yeah, you can do
Fantastic.
couch.
Oh, interesting.
You can do couch. You can do online co-op all the way through. You have your own locker, your own gear set.
4K
Loot.
capable.
Yeah. Anything that's being announced is 4K.
Yeah, it has to be.
I'm talking the second one.
think so?
There was a remaster. I don't know if it came out on the
The
One
handsome
X.
Jack?
Yeah.
Because I'm thinking
Well, a lot of things
we would go play this right now.
have been now. Yeah, I would play it. Is
Like I don't know
the
if they got
pre-sequel's
the
newest,
texture
right?
pack. You know what I mean for the 4K resolution.
I mean, if you're down to play it, man, I'll buy it right now and we'll go.
Because that's what I'm. Well, we would couch co-op it and then you would jump in.
Oh, you guys should definitely play the collection. Get the
We don't
collection.
even have to couch co-op it. We can just.
No, I'm thinking because it's 4K.
Oh,
Yeah.
good
Yeah,
point.
well,
good
if it
point.
is,
Yeah,
check
on
it.
the and on the
Like-
Xbox
Look at
Xbox
the,
One
The
X.
Witcher 3, they just released the 4K patch, and it's
Yeah.
like, okay,
And with The Witcher
Thank you.
3 on top
That's
of that,
still a,
for
like
anyone
a
who
Thank you for
$60
that.
game.
on PC, they actually just like the modding community just remade the whole game with a new combat system. So if you didn't like The Witcher 3 combat, because I know it was a little clunky on the PC,
yeah.
it was great on console, but PCs, I mean mouse buttons and whatnot.
Yeah.
They did redo that, so it's smoother.
Witcher 2 on console, horrible.
Yeah, but they
You didn't
fixed
like
that
Witcher
too.
2?
The combat was so clunky.
I loved The Witcher.
Oh,
So
oh,
clunky.
excuse me. I'll go back and say that again. They fixed that. They fixed that for the actual computer. So it was very shitty on the computer too. And then they came out with this like DLC patch that came with it that made it smooth.
That's awesome.
Love The Witcher. CD Projekt Red. They need to get their own stage at E3.
Mm-mm.
I mean,
No,
it won't
they
happen.
don't have
Too small.
Obviously,
too
it won't
small.
happen.
Oh.
I want them to grow.
Where-
We'll keep that. We'll
Where-
keep. No, you don't say.
we're not going
Yeah,
there.
we'll,
We're not
we'll
going.
go. We'll go.
Here's where we're going. This is going to be on the Microsoft stage, guaranteed, 100%. PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds. It's going to be there. They're going to bring a map over to the Xbox One X. That's going to happen. What else?
That'll be
What else could they?
disappointing.
What else could they say about it? I don't know because I don't play it.
Here,
You guys have
you
any
get
thoughts
more.
on
You
PUBG?
get more gun stuff. It's garbage,
Few
dude. Like,
more bugs.
You
thrown in with it.
you get shot through sand dunes
no,
because people hacked and can see you wherever you are.
have fun getting.
Enjoy.
Have fun. Running
you got
around
stuck
like an idiot.
inside of this wall of this house.
Enjoy
dead.
now as we poison you to death.
Enjoy these graphics.
That
Oh
aren't
wait, no.
there.
I mean,
Have
if
you
you're on
seen-
PC, enjoy these graphics. But if you're playing on the X,
Have you seen
I'm sorry.
the flying bus hack?
PUBG is
No.
actually my favorite game.
People were driving a flying bus and just running over everybody. Literally a team just in a bus, and they hacked, and it was flying, and you couldn't kill them.
Yep, cars fly all the time.
And they were
in it.
just running over people, and they were winning all the kinds of games.
do you know what I envision when I think about PUBG on Xbox One? You get the most powerful console and the most shitty port of all time, and so this is what I
just
envision.
crashes every time
This
you
is
open
this
it.
is my vision of you go on, you log on, you're walking through the town, and all of a sudden the developer of PUBG is coming over, and he just throws out that stone from Dark Souls and says, "I'm sorry, this is shitty. I'm so sorry."
It's a great visual.
That's going to be on the
especially
E3.
for a,
That's number one
Dark
moment
Souls
of the
player.
E3.
That's fun.
So
Every time I won a PvP, I'm sorry, Stone was thrown. So that brings back
so
fond
good. It was
memories.
so good. That's my favorite. How does Microsoft close this conference out?
New
Brand new game.
I
It's
was gonna
got to
say
be.
it's got to be
Brand
new.
new
IP.
games? Like, is it
I
is it
mean,
going to be Phil coming
if-
back out saying,
If they
"We
came
got
out
the
and
console,
said,
we got the
here's
games,
here's open world
here's the-
Halo,"
This is Xbox."
I'd lose my mind.
A jerk off a little.
They came out and they were like, "Here's open world
little?
Halo.
A little.
Enjoy actually being a Spartan.
Like a
you get to,
two-day session.
you know what I mean? Like if they came out and did that, I'd be really excited. But if they came out with a brand new game, brand new like JRPG or even an MMO,
New
just
Tales
something that's
game,
open,
That'd be great.
that I can't be upset with that.
You don't think they might possibly close with Fable?
Or Fable.
Oh, that might
yeah,
be it,
That's
too.
my hope for it.
That
I
would be
hope they do.
incredible.
I would want Fable in the middle, like you said,
I
for
would.
the meatiest
I
part.
probably would want it. No, I.
I don't think.
Although it's
okay,
probably an
so
early
if
development.
something were
I'm not
come
going to
out.
tell you what the meatiest part's going to be. I'm going to let our resident expert tell you what the meatiest part of the Microsoft conference is going to be. Brett,
The
take
thing
it away.
is, though, when we talk about Anthem with Microsoft, EA is going to have their own thing. So I don't know if they're going to do that. So when I look at it, EA is going to have their own stage.
yeah,
So they're going to want Anthem to be their big thing.
they're going to have Anthem. You already know EA's going to have Anthem, and
Right.
Microsoft's going to have Anthem.
So the thing is, I
Will
don't know how much
Microsoft have
Microsoft will
enough-
show it.
What do you think Microsoft's going to show?
Hopefully some gameplay.
Well, we'll talk about my bold prediction later on in the show.
We'll talk about that later. Okay. So we're pretty set on Microsoft's closing being their statement
Right,
that
right.
they've got games.
Yep.
So we're going to all look forward to the Microsoft press conference and make sure that you guys check out our reactions because those episodes will be up following E3. We'll be covering it all week as well. Thanks, everyone, for joining us for TSGG Chat. This has been episode 1 of the 2-part series covering our E3 predictions. Stay tuned for next week's episode. We're going to continue on with Ubisoft and Bethesda and also EA.
Don't forget about Nintendo, too.
And Nintendo as well. They're doing a direct. They're not actually doing a conference.
You monster.
Have a good week.
Have a good night.
Enjoy your lives.
See you next week.